Hey everyone! So this week we're talking about sequels, and I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to be like Lauren and I'm going to be totally excited about books because I love sequels. Yes, I do. I don't like cliffhangers, but I like the sequels because then I finally get to figure out what happened at the cliffhanger. So, first up, I'm going to answer Lauren's question because I did just finish Hallowed, and I'm going to disappoint both Harmony and Lauren and Bailey if she's read this. There's not a lot of Tucker in this book. I was very sad because I started it thinking there was going to be a lot of Tucker because there was a very sweet moment in the very beginning with him and Clara, and then he just kind of disappeared from the story. And now I'm dying for the next book to find out what is going to happen to Clara and Tucker and Christian and everybody. Jeffrey, too. I like Jeffrey. Um, so, yeah, that book was amazing. I cried and I laughed, too. It was pretty funny at parts. But I am waiting for the third book in that series, which probably comes out in 2013, but I'm not sure. It doesn't even have a title yet, so who knows. Next up, I am waiting on A Million Suns by Beth Revis. I was one of those people who gave Across the Universe a mixed review. I didn't care much for it for the first half of the book. I didn't like either of the main characters in the beginning. I didn't feel like I cared enough about their stories, and I just kind of wanted to be done with them. And then I got about halfway through, and some new revelations were told about what was going on in the ship, and I was very interested from then on. And by the end, I was dying to figure out what happened, and then it was kind of a cliffhanger, and so now I'm waiting for Million Suns to find out what happened there. Next up, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer #2, which once again doesn't have a title, but I think it's coming out. I know it's coming out in 2012, I just don't know when. Mara Dyer is a very dark and twisted book. It's really messed up in like the best possible way. If you've read Mara Dyer, you understand how it's messed up. If you haven't read it, you'll be totally clueless. But I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just a very kind of confusing book. You never know what's really going on and what the main character is imagining is going on. So I love that about it. And the ending threw me by surprise. I don't know. I did not see that coming, and I am very, very, very excited to find out what the hell happened there. Next up would be Daughter of Smoke and Bone #2. Daughter of Smoke and Bone was my #1 book for the year. I loved it. I can't even explain why I loved it. It was just so beautiful. And I think the characters really did it for me because they're amazing. Crew, Akiva, Brimstone, just everybody. And the ending was just, oh my gosh. So, Laini Taylor, when I met her at her signing, she explained why she cut it into more than one book. But I was just like, why couldn't it just keep going? I would have read 800 pages of that book. So now I'm waiting for the next like 400 or so pages, which will be the sequel. So that is my #1 most anticipated sequel, definitely. My #2 most anticipated sequel, I would have to say, would be Insurgent by Veronica Roth. I think the #1 reason for me wanting this book is 4. If you've read Divergent, you know why a number would make me want to read a book, but 4 is amazing, and I love him, and I want that book now. Next up is my third most anticipated one, and that is Enshadowed by Kelly Cray. I was really excited because Enshadowed was set to come out in January of 2012, and for some odd reason they pushed it back to August of 2012, and I wanted to cry because Nevermore was my favorite book of 2010, and I am just dying to know what happens in that book because the ending was terrible. I mean, not terrible as in it was a terrible story. It was just because I wanted to cry because I could not believe that Kelly Cray left it like that. So now I am dying to read Enshadowed, and I'm hoping that maybe I'll get the chance relatively soon. So I know I'm going to say a couple other ones. These next two aren't really sequels, they're third books, and one's technically a companion novel, not even a sequel. Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. I loved Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door. Mainly for the guys in both of them. St. Clair and Cricket are amazing, and I'm totally a Cricket fan, by the way. St. Clair comes #2 in my heart. But I am pretty positive that both Anna, St. Clair, Lola, and Cricket will have cameos in this book, and I cannot wait to read more of them. And then the other one is Hidden by Sophie Jordan, which is the third in the Firelight series. I'm not going to say anything really about those because it's a third book, so I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending of Vanish was just insane, and I just, Okay, I don't know what team I'm on anymore. I'm just torn. So I really want to find out which guy she's going to go with. And I know there are more than I can't really think of right now. I knew I would forget some, but I'm trying to think of them at the last minute. But I'm pretty sure that might be all that I can think of at the moment. I'm really excited about the books that I named off. I cannot wait. I'm hoping that advanced copies will be handed to me at some point. I know that's terrible to say, but it's true. I don't want to wait until the release date for all these books. So I'm wishing. And now, before I forget, I want to say that A Want So Wicked, the sequel to A Need So Beautiful, is also on my list. I cried like a baby at A Need So Beautiful. And I know somebody who's already read A Want So Wicked and she loved it, so now I'm dying to read it. So that is my final book that I'm going to mention. And I am done now. This video was random. I told you I'd be really excited, so I get distracted when I'm excited. So those are my top books. I would love to know if you agree with me, if you would like to correct me and say that no, this book is better. Let me know. Leave it in the comments. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully I won't be so crazy then.